Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lifestyle with Dr. Moby. I'm Dr. Moby, and let's welcome Anne all the way from Scotland, right?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Hi, Dr. Moby.
Hi, thank you for logging in. And today's topic, we're going to discuss about podcasting. And also, she happens to be one of those minority ones in construction industry. And we have never seen many females in that field. So that is great. So give us your intro, Anne.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Anne Okafor. I work in the construction industry in Scotland. My job role as a construction planner is putting together the schedules and basically the big to-do list that works for the site and how we build the buildings, but also in how we monitor them and our progress along the way for the project. So that's what I do in a day-to-day. Out with my job, I volunteer to help young and new professionals into construction and STEM industries. And I do that through mentoring and careers advice and things like that. And I also have a podcast, which is called the Everyday Determinator Podcast. And I talk about everyday stories. Basically, it's behind the scenes of the success that people have, the success we have in our Instagram pictures and things. I talk about how we get to that picture and the story behind that, the challenges we overcome. And there's many different challenges that we each maybe deal with. So my guests will talk about their challenges and how they've overcome them and offer tips and advice to our listeners so that if they're going through similar things, then they can get some insight into how someone else has dealt with that.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So tell me about how did you start with the construction?
So probably about 6 years ago, maybe 7 now, I'd always wanted to go into construction. I come from a background of retail and hospitality. I'd always wanted to do it, but when I was younger, I just didn't have the opportunities at the time. When I left school, I didn't have any qualifications, and I just didn't have that opportunity. Got stuck on the hamster wheel of life, doing the job, eat, sleep, repeat, going to work type of thing, and always wanted to go back to construction industry. So I applied, having spoken with some friends. They said, well, why are you not doing it? And I said, well, qualifications, maybe I need to do something, especially around maths. I wasn't very good at maths, when I was at school, and I felt like that may have held me back. I went and applied to some places and I was very lucky and was offered a place on a course to start. And then I went on and I've now got my bachelor's degree and I'm 2/3 of the way through my master's degree also.
Oh, very nice. So you're pursuing then education also in construction, or is it on different?
My bachelor's was in construction project management and my master's is in quality management, which is around that sort of construction quality management piece, which we so desperately need.
Very nice, very nice. And we were talking before the show that, I've not seen many females in this, and really, I encourage a lot more because I think they do fantastic job. My sister also has a great passion for it too. So I can relate because, they are very good at actually interior as well as, exterior too, all the designs and so forth. We had a lot of architectures, very famous ones too, So I think that makes sense, that so they can do more also on the construction, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think at the moment it's something around 10% of women in the industry as a whole. When that comes to trades, it's maybe about 3 or 4%. So when you're actually on the job site, essentially, but women bring a great deal of talent, a great deal of different skills to a construction site and a construction project. We're every bit as capable as our male counterparts, and just sometimes need the opportunities to get involved. But it is becoming more and more. We are seeing many more women choose construction as a career. It's a great opportunity. It's a great career for opportunity. And I'm hoping that the things that I do in terms of volunteering and, you know, talking to children and young people about careers in construction, that we can increase those numbers, because they're, you know, certainly with the way construction is changing, you know, it's becoming a digital landscape as well, with opportunities in digital fields as well. There certainly becomes much more flexibility in the type of job roles that we can offer compared to maybe what we had traditionally, you know, we're just on site sort of things. It's different opportunities now as well.
Okay, yes, and that is true. I think landscape is changing, which is great. So tell me, what are some of the hurdles you face, being female there?
Um, I guess attitudes can still be fairly stuck in terms of, you know, old fashioned kind of thinking. I've been very lucky, I will say, and it's not something I've faced a great deal of. You do still get the sexist comments and things like that, but to a much lesser degree than some other women's experiences that I've heard. I really have had a great experience with both female and male mentors, and helping me sort of navigate that. Same with lecturers. I've had excellent lecturers who've really supported my education and my move into industry. There are barriers, like I say, in terms of old-fashioned thinking, and we need to just do more about that, and more awareness, and obviously more women coming through will show people that it is the done thing now, and we won't be a minority, hopefully, at one point in the future, and that will make a difference as well.
Mhm. And what do you say to other, fellows who wants to pursue this career? What do you think? Anything you want to advise them? What they should be doing to get better at that?
Just invest in yourself, you know, learn, invest in your knowledge. If there's something you want to do, there's no reason why you can't do it.
Hmm.
Here in the UK, reports have said that we need to recruit over 200,000 people in the next few years to keep up with the demand of the industry in terms of our, you know, our housing targets and things like that. That's great opportunity for people to join the industry and to bring their skills and talents. So you know, I'm a firm believer that in the construction industry, we have opportunities to offer for anyone from any background with any type of skill set. There's opportunities there that you can work with, you know, even transferable skills like mine coming from hospitality and retail. You know, the skills I've learned in those roles have served me really very well.
Hmm.
So just if you want to get involved in construction, absolutely do pursue it. Invest in yourself, invest in your knowledge. You know, look for mentors who can help and help you guide the way, and maybe help you sort of direct you know, direct your thinking, direct your thoughts into something that may work for you. Because the one thing as well that a lot of people don't realize about the construction industry, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different job roles,
Hmm.
and it's not necessarily all on job sites. So there are job roles that will suit every kind of skill set and every kind of personality.
Hmm. So that is true. There are a lot of jobs, and everybody can actually find what they like and what they don't. I'm sure somebody will be more on residential and somebody will be on commercial. So do you have that distinction there, or is it more just a little extra?
No, we do. We have the same, you know, it's the same here. You will get residential practices, you'll get consultancy practices as well. You'll get people that do, you know, what we call the big tier one contractors who do the big mega buildings. And some people will prefer one or the other. You know, some people will prefer to be in a small family orientated type of business. Some people will prefer to be in a big you know, global corporation type of business. So
Mhm.
again, it's very much down to your personality. The businesses I've worked in so far have been kind of medium-sized firms, and that suits me perfectly. You know, there's opportunities to work in all sorts of different firms, or consultancy as well, if you want to be on the client side rather than the actual building side as well.
Hmm. And also tell me a little bit about, are there more constructions now with because there are kind of younger couples or families, or is it more, what kind of population are you seeing there in your
In terms of workers, or yeah,
uh, uh,
um,
your workers, as well as people who are asking, the owners of the properties, are they more younger population or
well, a lot of the work that we work on traditionally would maybe be social housing, so it can be quite a mix of people.
Mhm,
Although that the property market's up and down, as I'm sure it's the same in America. It changes and things, but it can
mhm,
be quite difficult for young people to get on the property ladder here. But that's not to say it can't happen. There are different opportunities and different things that can help people to get on the property ladder as well. So it just kind of really depends on what area you're in as well. It changes from city to city in terms of affordability and things like that. So it really just depends on where you are.
mhm. Also, tell me a little bit about the podcasting, and tell me, when did you start doing that?
So I started recording for this in November, December of last year. So it's very, very new. I had an idea, and I've been thinking about it for a couple of years and hadn't really done anything about it. And then last year, I kind of started thinking about it a bit more and decided to, take action and to press play. I started recording in, like, say, November, December,
Hmm.
and I launched my first 5 episodes on January the 3rd. So just like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Hmm.
And I released my 9th episode today. So, sorry, 8th episode, 9 including the trailer that I released in December, but the 9th episode was released today. So we are very new, but we have some great guests in the lineup coming up over the next few months as well that we've already recorded. And yeah, we're discussing stories, everyday challenges. We call it the everyday determinator because people have challenges every day that they get up, and we go about our business, we go about our work and our podcasting and our school, our education, and most people are dealing with some sort of challenge or have dealt with some sort of challenge to get where they are today. And we're just talking about those stories. So for some people it may be disability, for some people it may be being in a job that they really didn't like, and now they've started their own business. For some people, it can be anything. We all have different challenges. For some people, it's time management. So we have different guests. Some are discussing challenges, some are discussing techniques or skills. So, for instance, we've had a lady talking about time management. We've had people talking about, today's episode is someone talking about mentoring. And we have different coaches with different styles as well. Someone talking about leadership, and then some people sharing their stories of their careers, or how they got to be where they are today. Quite often, I think we see the Instagram picture, or the social media picture
Hmm.
of the successes. We see the highlight reel, as we say. We see the pictures of the graduations, of the promotions. We don't always see what's behind those pictures.
Hmm.
And what we talk about in the podcast is what is behind those pictures, what it took to get there, the challenges they overcome, and how they have managed to get to where they are today.
Okay, very nice. So you basically go behind the scenes and what it means, and what this picture stands for, and
Yeah.
kind of stories behind all the pictures, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just how people have got to where they are. We
Hmm.
see people like, for example, we had one lady who's an architect, and she's now a business coach to other architects,
Hmm.
but she's went on a journey of quite a unconventional architecture career,
Hmm.
and she talks about the struggles that she had, and some of the great jobs that she's had along the way, as well. So just talking about people's stories in their own words, and how they got through the challenges that they faced along their way.
Okay, very nice, and that must be very rewarding. I feel that you really enjoy that, and you enjoy the aspect of listening to different stories, and kind of what is unique about that, right?
Absolutely. I really do enjoy it. And I learn something from each of the guests that we have on
Mhm.
about how I can be a better person. Certainly, when I'm trying to help others with mentoring and things like that, it helps me to see things from different perspectives. And I'm learning something with every guest that comes along. And I just really appreciate them sharing their stories with me.
Yes, and that is all about, sharing and caring, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about, what is your advice for some of those for the career? I know you do a lot of career advice too. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about some of the experiences you have seen so far or advised them so far.
Okay, so for example, I had one of my mentees was new to his job role. He had come from graduation and was starting out on a construction site. He was very new, and the people that he was charged with supervising had been in the industry for a very long time. So
Mhm.
we just spoke about ways that he could maybe relate to them in terms of how he was able to manage them and work with them, because he was struggling a little bit with them being able to relate to him. You know, they had many years' experience and he was fresh from school. And, you know, some people feel that they shouldn't have been supervised, you know, and they kind of rebelled almost against what he was trying to tell them. So we just spoke about ways that he can understand their point of view and come to ways where he was able to manage them.
Mhm.
And you know, we managed to do that successfully, and now he's, you know, working and progressing his career with the support of these people, because you know, we turned around the way he was dealing with that situation.
Mhm.
That's just one example. But sometimes it's, you know, sometimes it's about how to optimize your CV. Sometimes it's about networking. You know, in the construction industry here, networking is a very big thing because it's a small industry. So sometimes it's about networking tips, or going to interviews. It can be things like that, as well as maybe on the site experience too.
Okay, very nice. So I want to ask you about what's your experience now with new graduates or newcomers? Are they more kind of because of COVID? Are there changes? They are not seeing as much as results as other people would have seen previously.
And not so much. I think one of the really big things that's been quite difficult for graduates, certainly here in the UK, is that there haven't been the same opportunities for work placement opportunity. You
Mhm.
know, getting some on hand practical advice, because companies were obviously restricted into social distancing, how many people you were allowed on site, how many people could work together, you know, in teams and things like that. So it was very, very difficult to accommodate work placement requests. So, and in many cases, you know, they were completely shut down. So there wasn't really any work placements. And I think that has had an impact on some people, because you do learn on the job site. A lot of people have maybe had to maybe take a year out, or you know, find that workplace experience in a different way. Some companies did offer virtual opportunities, and I know the Chartered Institute of Building, where I volunteer with, we tried to offer as
Mhm.
much virtual experience for people as we could, but again, we were unable to get access to the job sites to offer virtual events for a period of time. So there was that kind of stop. In terms of anything else, though, most of our university studies and things carried on, albeit it was virtual. You know, everybody moved onto online delivery, but most courses progressed in a similar fashion, just albeit online.
Mhm. And what's your advice to with COVID? What have you seen anything down more because of COVID in construction?
Well, we've had issues with logistics, I guess, and obviously in the UK here we've had Brexit as well on top of that, so
Mhm.
that made things difficult in terms of actually getting materials, especially from Europe. But also the prices of materials skyrocketed. Um, you know, because of that, you know, when something's in more demand, it becomes more expensive. So we certainly had those issues. And as I mentioned before, in terms of social distancing, before you would just get as many people to get the job done. In some cases, we had to resequence things, and things would take longer to start or longer to actually do, because we were only allowed, we had to social distance people, so we weren't allowed as many people in a house. We weren't allowed as many people in the canteen and the toilet facilities and things like that for people. So we did have to consider those things when we were making plans throughout the pandemic.
Yeah, and that must be, some changes. I'm sure some changes right now occurring because of COVID, because people, there were maybe less construction and less economy could be down. People are more into, I don't know the Europe situation, but here in US, yes, the lumber price of everything,
Yeah.
everything has gone up.
Yeah.
So how about in Europe? Is the prices, are they really skyrocketing because of COVID and whatever, they're seeing demand for it?
Yes, no, absolutely. The material prices have been really high over the last couple of years,
Mhm.
and probably more so over the last few months. The prices have climbed really, really fast. So trying to take all that into account can be difficult as well.
And what about the interest rates?
Interest rates are high as well. It's not something that I'm hugely up on, to be fair, but yeah, everything's just a bit crazy at the moment. In terms of prices and things and changes across the board, really. Energy prices and things are going up as well here. I'm presuming it's the same in the US as well, but our energy prices are going up in the next couple of months, which is, and big increases. I'm not entirely sure of the exact percentages, but big increases, where it's making people think about whether they're actually going to be able to afford energy and things like that. And those things will transfer into the construction industry. We use a great deal of energy to build. We use a great deal of energy to keep our businesses going and things like that as well. So these costs will come along as well for the industries.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we have reached the end. Thank you for giving us a great talk. Any final advice you would have for our listeners?
Just in terms of construction, it's a great opportunity. If you're interested in a career in construction, please do reach out, and there's ways that we can help to see if it might be something you might want to do.
Sure. And anything on terms of podcasting? Do you have any advice for podcast?
Again, if you're interested in starting a podcast, just press play, start recording, learn as you go. It does take some learning. I'm sure I'll learn as I go as well, and I'll get better along the way. But if you have an idea and you have the will to start, press play and start. And talk about it. And if you're interested in my podcast, you can find us on the podcast places at the Everyday Determinator.
Okay, very nice, and good luck for
Thank
all
you.
the things you're doing, construction, podcasting, mentoring. You're doing phenomenal job. Take care, and thank you for coming to our show. Take care. See you.
Thanks, Dr. Moby.
Take care.